Kirsten O'Dea Kamar, and I'm a 10th grader at Edmonds Woodway High School.
And I'm Mia Gilster, also a 10th grader at Edmonds Woodway High School.
Our solution is to the problem of goal number 5, which is to prevent deadly diseases and solve human aging to live longer and healthier. We would like the judges to play the role of lawmakers.
Okay, so the problem. 10 million people each year die because of cancer. And in 2020, an estimated 606,520 Americans died of cancer. And it's the second leading cause of death in the world. In addition, respiratory diseases are also another leading cause of death in the world. And as you can see on the graph, there's cancer at number 2 and respiratory diseases at number 3.
Okay, so our solution is to find different ways in which we can decrease mortality rates. So we have found 2 chemicals, which is potassium bromate and ADA, and our goal is to ban the use of these 2 chemicals. So the first one is potassium bromate. This is an ingredient used in flour to increase its elasticity and its strength. It's not found in organic breads, but it is actually found in 86 food items inside the US. And it has said to cause cancer and even disrupt genetic material inside the cells. Some food industries say it's safe, but other tests, even from WHO, have evidence that it's not. We would like to ban it because it's an additive that could possibly lead to cancer. Other countries, such as the UK, Canada, and Brazil, have already banned it. This ingredient is not necessary. There are actually other techniques and products that they could use as a replacement. And this could also eventually lead to the banning of more ingredients and other products. And by doing this, we're actually making people more aware of what they're consuming and that they should pay attention to food labels and stuff.
Okay, so ADA, which is the second chemical that we want to ban, it stands for azodicarbonamide, and it's a bleaching agent used to whiten flour. It's also used in plastics to improve elasticity, and 500 foods in US grocery stores contain ADA. Okay, so the purpose of banning. It is found to increase incidence of tumors. The European Union has already banned it, and ADA is not necessary to make bread, so there are many other alternatives to make bread. And studies have provided abundant evidence that azodicarbonamide can induce asthma, other respiratory symptoms, and skin sensitization to people working with the chemical, according to the World Health Organization. So I think it's pretty safe to say that it's not something that we should be consuming. Okay, endocrine disrupting chemicals. These are chemicals that are found in air, soil, food sources, and packaging, which negatively affect the way our hormones work. It can cause cancer, obesity, and hormonal diseases. And after we work on banning things like potassium bromate and ADA, we think that this would be a next step. Banning endocrine disrupting chemicals would be the next step in working on preventing diseases through banning chemicals.
Okay, our plan is to first start a petition. We actually saw other petitions, but these weren't actually put to use. So that would be our first step. And then our second step, once our petition is approved, would be to decrease the use of potassium bromate and ADA by 10%. Then our next step would be to decrease it by 50% and so on until they no longer need to use it. Obviously, like food companies are like, they have different time periods, and we need to respect that it's going to take a while for them to not need it anymore. So we're going to give them the time that they need. Then if this goes successful, then we would move on to the fourth step, which is beginning the banning or limitation of other products. For example, we mentioned EDC, which could also be banned. Our fifth step would be bringing awareness to society about the negative impact of these products. Obviously, a lot of people haven't heard about this, or else they wouldn't be consuming it as much. So it's important that society knows what's going on. So food companies, depending on how much they use, they're going to need different amounts of money, and they're going to need support because they're not used to making flour or anything they are making without this product. So they're probably going to need some support from that money. And then we also want money, funding to spread the word through like news or websites, or even like working with World Health Organization, because they know that it's unhealthy, but still America and other countries are using it.
Okay, so in summary, our goal is to ban the chemicals such as potassium bromate and ADA, and this will be the beginning of the process in order to help decrease the chances of cancer and other dangerous diseases. This will help more people be aware of harmful ingredients in order to prevent diseases and increase the average lifespan overall. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So I have a question for you. These substances have been banned in most countries around the world, including China. Have you looked into any evidence of the actual impact on cancer rates in these regions where they've been banned in previous time?
That's a good question. We actually have not. We've only compared it to America, but.
Okay, and then to follow on with that, so one thing that struck me as unexpected is the idea that financial support would be involved in the producers using these substances. And what's your thought behind that? Because as a taxpayer, I'm not so sure if I want to give Nestle money to take out poisonous substances from their products.
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
So I think that your idea about funding was that some of that funding would go to supporting the producers of foods, like bread producers, right? So, and can you talk more about why give the company that are the last holdouts on using these substances? Why give them money, and as opposed to just making this purely a policy play where you just make it illegal, like most of the nations of the world?
I mean, wouldn't they need like I feel like the company would need support because it's benefiting the world. So I feel like as a taxpayer, it'd be important that we're not using these products. And I think I'm understanding your question. And I mean, I think it's important that like they're supported as well, because we are taking away an ingredient that they would need. So before they like get support to transfer to other techniques.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's an interesting idea. It's like I say, it strikes me as unfamiliar because it's like compensating a murderer to not stab people. It's like that's the problem is the usage of the substance, not the financial support that they need to join the rest of the world and not use it.
Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from.
I have a question. What are the products replacements for the banned ingredients?
So there is one chemical I found for potassium bromate, but I've also seen that if they like work with the flour a little bit more, like with the dough, if they like, I've heard that if they just like work on the dough a little bit more and they don't have to add anything, if they just like knead it a little bit more, it could work on the texture.
Right, so there can be like techniques that replace these ingredients.
Yeah.
Great answer. Thanks.
I have a question on the messaging part. In this world of information overwhelming, there are studies and there are messages which are going around. And how do you plan to make your marketing and messaging effective when there are so many avenues out there, especially regarding food related uh, myths versus realities?
I mean, there are companies like World Health Organization who knows about this. So probably just like working with them or like through like social media, because a lot of people look towards that. So that could be something we advertise through.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to. Social media is filled with these things, and sometimes it's difficult to spot good versus bad. And in general, for medical information, um, users should not rely on social media as the as the main source of information. So that's what I was asking. So working with reputed organization is a good answer, but will that strategy require you to have a lot more funding, because even to engage with sometimes these organizations and you know have have them back you is more money intensive proposition.